Why, hello there, Professor Joel, and welcome to another episode of Planet Scooby Reviews. Today we are covering The Weird Winds of Winona, which is the 6th episode of the 2nd season of the new Scooby Doo movies, and it originally aired on October 13th, 1973. Here we see the gang investigating some mysterious winds in the ghost town of Winona, along with their newly made pals of the Speed Buggy crew, which consist of Tinker, the mechanic of the group, so he's Speed Buggy's mechanic, and we have Debbie, a teenage female character, and we get Mark, the brains of the group. Speed Buggy was a cartoon that ran alongside the new Scooby Doo movies, at least the 2nd season, in 1973, and it only lasted 1 season. Mel Blanc does the voice of Speed Buggy, and he is, of course, most famous for voicing classic cartoon characters such as Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, Foghorn Leghorn, Yosemite Sam, Sylvester, and for Hanna-Barbera, he did the voice of Captain Caveman. I really wish Speed Buggy ran for more seasons than just one, as it seemed like a lot of fun. From what I remember, and I do remember watching these originally back in the day, but I guess they were syndicated because I wasn't born yet when this premiered. But I do remember Speed Buggy would travel the world, and he'd enter races, and his crew would kind of solve mysteries along the way involving evil crooks and villains. Nothing really too spooky, just more like espionage, closer a little bit, I guess, to Josie and the Pussycats. Speed Buggy seemed like a cool take on Disney's Herbie the Love Bug, which was a very popular movie franchise way back in the day. Anyway, enough of my jibber jabber. Let's get on with the review. The episode begins with the gang driving through some farm country on their way to Winona. There they plan to see the Oceanside Auto Rally, where Speed Buggy is a special guest. Fred can hardly wait to see that little car in action.
Relax, Shaggy. We're almost to Winona.
Then, on to the Oceanside Auto Rally with special guest Speed Buggy.
I can hardly wait to see that little car in action.
We then cut to Speed Buggy and his gang, and we are introduced to his team of Tinker, the mechanic, Debbie, the teenage girl, and Mark, the brains of the group. Back to the Mystery Machine, we see the gang entering Winona, where the original population of 627 is down to 10 people, according to the welcome sign. At a boarded-up hotel, we see that it and the whole town is out of business, so the boys camp outside the Mystery Machine while the girls sleep inside for the night. The gang are then woken up at the stroke of midnight by some heavy winds and don't sleep a wink all night due to the crazy winds.
Golly, it looks like Winona is deserted.
Welcome to Winona, population 10.
Closed. Out of business.
Looks like the whole town is out of business. I wonder what's with this village. Good night, all.
See you in the morning.
What are those weird noises?
I'm afraid to find out.
Wow, Spooksville. I'm scared.
The daytime is nice at least, and the gang pack up their supplies and roll out.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, what a night.
I'd hate to spend another sleepless night in this creepy spook trap.
It seems pleasant enough now.
While they depart, the gang almost hits Speed Buggy, and the two groups meet. Both gangs recognize one another, and the gang decide to travel to the Oceanside Car Rally together.
Wow! Aren't you Velma, Daphne, Fred, and Shaggy?
And this must be the famous Speed Buggy.
And I'm Tinker.
Uh-huh. I'm Debbie.
I'm Mark. Where are you guys headed?
The Oceanside Car Rally, same as you.
Hey, why don't we go together?
Terrific.
On the way there, Freddy hits a truck backing out of his farm, and there is a minor fender bender, with the Mystery Machine getting the worst of the damage.
I'm sorry I backed out in front of you kids.
Look at our van.
Wow, you won't be able to get out of town in that. The last mechanic sold his garage and left town 2 weeks ago.
You're looking at the world's best mechanic in person.
It'll take a couple of days. There's plenty of room in my barn. You're welcome to stay till you get your van fixed. So many strange things happening ever since those midnight winds began.
How long have they been going on?
About 2 months now.
The farmer named Clem Duncan, who caused the accident, offers to shelter the gang in his barn while the gang and Tinker fix up the mystery machine. Unfortunately, Tinker says it will take a few days and they might have to miss the race. Because they will be there for a few days, the girls can sleep in the house while the boys can rest up in the barn at night. Mr. Duncan explains that the strange winds have been occurring for 2 months now and have scared off most of the population. Since the two gangs will be spending the night, they decide they'll figure out the source of the winds when the clock strikes midnight again that night. Midnight strikes and so do the weird winds, so the gang head out into the ghost town to explore what's going on. Heading through an old cemetery, they head up to an old church where a bell is being pulled. They figure someone must be pulling the bell at midnight, and since it strikes when the wind starts up, they might find a clue to this mystery. Inside the church, the gang do not find anyone. However, a mysterious figure causes some haunted shenanigans that scares everyone away. Exploring the town once more, the gang see a shadowy figure and chase him into a clothing store.
Let's split up and go down different aisles.
The creepy figure hides behind several mannequins and more hijinks occur. With an unsuccessful night of ghost hunting, the gang head back to the barn and try to get a good night's rest. They are then woken up pretty early as Tinker is hammering at the mystery machine's bumper and he's causing a ruckus. He does not want to spend one more night in this haunted town. Mr. Duncan cooks everyone up some pancakes.
Far out! Pancakes!
Pancakes! Pancakes!
You want to get indigestion in your carburetor? You better stick to no-fat oil.
Afterwards, Debbie, Velma, and Daphne decide to head into the village in Speed Buggy. Scooby and Shaggy tag along as the town feels safe in daylight. In town, they find the bank is still open.
While the boys are busy, let's go poke around the village. Without the mystery machine, we can't poke around anywhere.
Yeah. Zoom.
Why, Speed Buggy wants to take us.
Well, we'll get more work done if they're gone.
I still wish we could solve the mystery of the miserable midnight.
There's someone who's not afraid. The bank is still open.
There they meet the bank owner named Mr. Peabody. Inside his office, they hear a weird wind in his bank vault and see some money blowing around inside.
I'm sorry I can't be of any help, kids. I'm as baffled as everyone else by what's happening. Sounds as if it's coming from the vault. You kids had better get out of Winona while you can.
Well, thanks anyway, Mr. Peabody.
Not a single clue.
The gang then leave thinking they found no clues. However, I think a vault full of money blowing around is a pretty significant clue. Fortunately, the gang come across the Winona Hall of Records.
Winona Hall of Records. City Records.
And some possible clues.
So they head in to find any more clues. One of the town's ghosts causes some trouble for the gang and locks Scooby and Shaggy in a room. Unable to find our cowardly duo, Debbie rushes back to town in Speed Buggy to get the boys' help in finding Scooby and Shaggy.
Shaggy and Scooby are missing.
We were in the Hall of Records and they just disappeared into thin air.
Golly!
Let's go.
Zoom.
With the mystery machine fixed, everyone is now back at the Hall of Records.
Let's look for secret panels.
Stand back, Scoob!
Somebody's pounding behind the books.
Yeah, baby.
Excuse me? A baking powder?
Yeah. Zoom.
So they've got to be here somewhere.
And Speed Buggy uses his hot exhaust to melt the lock on the door.
Jinky's a hidden door.
This looks like a job for Speed Buggy.
Help's on the way.
Okay, Shag, come on out.
You're really hot stuff, Speedy.
Hey, look. This is an old parchment map of the whole area.
They also find an old parchment map of the whole area. On the map, they discover a cave system under the mountain.
This map might be a clue to the weird winds.
Hey, look. There's a cave system under the mountain.
Caves are spooky.
Let's explore them.
I'm with Tinker, count me out.
They then decide to explore the caves for further clues. The trips to the caves is rather treacherous, but the gang finally make it to the cave entrance. At the caves, they don't hear any wind, but they are stalked by a mysterious hooded figure that creates a few frights. We then discover that there's a few hidden figures, and one of them decides to start up some weird winds.
Find any clues?
Now, boss. Let him have it.
We might as well find the others and blow.
An underground hurricane.
Help!
Speed
This creates a miniature hurricane, and the gang end up getting locked in a cave system. Speed Buggy uses his wheels to dig through the cave wall, and they enter a room with a giant wind machine, which is basically an airplane without any wings.
Where are we?
Looks like some sort of office.
Get out of here and go tell the sheriff.
Now you be careful, you hear?
Okay. The coast is clear.
What's that contraption, Tinker?
It's a wind machine.
Now we know how they can turn on a hurricane.
The powerful propellers can cause these hurricane-like conditions inside the caves. As the gang tried to leave the caves, we then find 4 hooded men playing cards in the cave.
I'll take 3 cards.
Scooby must smell a way out.
Daylight.
Hey, boss, look. Let's get him.
Discovered, the 4 men take chase, but we know Scooby Doo and Speed Buggy are talented, so they end up using their heads to trap all 4 of the hooded men. Fed up with the wild winds, Mark tunnels an exit out of the cave with the wind machine and drives it into the ocean. Thus, the weird winds are forever gone.
What in tarnation's going on, Sheriff?
I don't know, Clem. First time this has ever happened in the daytime.
The sheriff and Mr. Duncan see the gang drive out of the tunnel, and the 2 gangs present the trapped hooded figures who are now tied up to the sheriff. Scooby and Shaggy also drag out a scale model of the town where they see that a hotel is now on Mr. Duncan's property. They figure out pretty quickly that the ghosts were trying to scare everyone out of the town so they could buy the property cheap and turn it into a resort. On the back of the map, they see the words P.J. Peabody Development Co. Mr. Peabody, the bank manager, then rips off his mask and runs off. There's a bit of an animation mistake as there are still 4 cloaked men still tied up, and there should only be 3 with Mr. Peabody running off. Unfortunately for Mr. Peabody, Speed Buggy is much faster and catches the villain.
Well, Clem, your midnight winds are at the bottom of the ocean.
And here are your little old wind makers, Sheriff.
That looks like a scale model of Winona.
There's a hotel right smack dab in the middle of my farm.
Well, it seems like someone was trying to scare everybody out of town and get their property dirt cheap. Hey, look at the back of this map. P.J. Peabody Development Corporation.
The bank president?
And I'd have succeeded if it weren't for those meddling kids.
He's making a break for it.
You'll never get me! Let's go, you little mechanical monster!
We always get our man, Sheriff.
With another mystery solved, the 2 gangs head off to the race as they should have just enough time to make it there so Speed Buggy can compete. I give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed the interaction between the gang and Speed Buggy, and I just like the Speed Buggy crew as well. They seemed really cool, and I felt it added a lot of value to the episode. We get 2 dinner scenes where they're eating pancakes and hamburgers and french fries, and I thought those scenes were a lot of fun. I like that they were in a barn, like just hanging out and stuff, and fixing the Mystery Machine. I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked the cave system. I thought that was cool. And the ghost town was fun. The atmosphere had a good sense of spookiness to it with the mysterious winds. This episode, even though it came out way before this movie called Children of the Corn, it gives me Children of the Corn vibes. There's not even any corn in it. It's just having someone stuck in a remote rural area and weird things are happening. That kind of vibe. I always like that vibe. So 7.5 out of 10. Unfortunately, the bad guys were a bit of a disappointment in that we don't see much in the way of interaction between these hooded figures and the gang until the very end. And the hooded figures, they just cause a bit of mischief. They don't really do much. They just kind of lock Scooby and Shaggy in a room, or they just ring a bell. You know, just it's kind of lame. And I wish they just kind of did something a little more kookier with them. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for their likes, views, subscribes, and comments. I really always enjoy seeing comments and likes and views and all that. These episodes do take a long time, so I appreciate that you kind of appreciate what I'm doing, and I enjoy seeing my channel grow. It's just a lot of fun, and I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun too. A lot of you have been asking what I'm going to review after this season. I will be starting the Scooby Doo show season 1, all the episodes I have not done, and then I'll do season 2, and I'll do that until the end of May. I'll do my summer hiatus again, It's in June, July, and August, where I'll just review some Scooby Doo episodes. And from there, we'll probably move on to whatever's left of the Scooby Doo show, or we'll start with the first season of Scrappy, where he's involved with the actual gang, including Freddy, Daphne, and Velma. And we'll just continue up through the years from there. Anyway, until next week when I will be covering the Haunted Candy Factory, which stars Mama Cass from the Mamas and the Papas, stay spooky.
Yeah. Varuma zoom zoom.